Hi everyone, so I just returned home. I freshened up a bit and I've kept all my books over here that I bought today. So without any further ado, let's get into the book haul. So I got all these three books for just 100 rupees, and it was like a really tough task to find three books from like all the books that were there, and I had to like scramble through all of them for almost an hour, and then finally I got these three books. So the first one is called The Bourne Enigma by Robert Ludlum. This one is about the main character Jason Bourne, who's at this wedding of his friend in Moscow, and he gets this cryptic message delivered, which before he can even decipher, the whole wedding just goes into chaos and bloodshed. So now he has like this whole new mystery on his hands which he has to follow. And actually, all three of these are thrillers, and I love thrillers. So I'm really excited to read all three of these, but I'm actually thinking of reading The Bourne Enigma last because it when I read on Goodreads for like the reviews, it says that it can be read as a standalone, but it is better if you read it with the book published before it because it has like the same villain and the direct connection to the plot. So I'm thinking of buying the other book as well, and then I will read this book after that so that I can have like a whole better connection. So the second book that I have with me is called Blink of an Eye by Louisa Scar, and this one is about like these five friends who meet on Christmas Eve, and on Christmas morning this detective gets a call and it says that these five people are unresponsive on the local beach, and by the time the detective reaches there, the first one is dead. So the detective and another detective, this detective duo, start researching and solving this case. But there seems to be something that these four people who are now alive seem to be hiding, and they're not telling these detectives why they met on Christmas Eve and what events followed. So I really like thrillers, and this one got like a good 4 star on Goodreads, which I think it's very trustable. So I'm really excited to like read this one. So the last book of these three that I got is called Survive the Night by Riley Sager, and Riley Sager is like this amazing thriller author. Almost all of his book have like this 4.5 star rating on Goodreads. So as soon as I saw this book in like that whole stack of books, I was so excited to read this book. So this one is about this girl called Charlie, and she's like being driven across the cities by this killer in the fear of this killer. And behind the wheel is Josh. They meet together in like this car sharing service. And as they start talking, she starts noticing these discrepancies in his story. And then, as the plot thickens, she starts thinking that maybe this guy is the one who's like blackmailing her and all. So in order to survive, she has to like survive the night, and I love myself a good well written TV show or like series which is based on survive the night or survival or anything like that. So I'm really excited to read the next book I got is called Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I've heard a lot about Dan Brown and like his writing style and his books being so well written and really popular. So I could not resist myself getting one of his books. So I got Angels and Demons. This is the first part in the Robert Langdon series. So in this book, Robert Langdon is like this person, and he's going to protect the Vatican from Illuminati. And Illuminati is like this secret society which opposed the Roman Catholic Church and was formed during the Renaissance. So I don't know much about this book, but I'm really excited to read this and to get into Dan Brown's work with like this first book of the series. I think is like a really good decision. So I'm really excited to read this one, and I got this one book for just 100 rupees. So it was a really good deal for me, I think. So next up are these three books, and I got them for 150 each. So I got all three of these for 450. And the first one of these is called Good Girl Bad Blood. This is the second part of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I have over here. And I haven't read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder yet, but I plan to very soon after I finish the book that I'm currently reading. So I thought getting the second part of the book was also a good decision. And I've heard really great reviews about this book, and it's also been turned into a show on Netflix, I think. So I'm really, really excited to read about this one. Next up is called The Palace of Illusion by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, and I've heard really great reviews about this, and it's like a really popular book on the Indian BookTube, Book Talk, and like this Bookstagram kind of platform. So this book is actually set in the Mahabharata time, and it is Mahabharata but by Draupadi's point of view. So it provides a woman's perspective on the Mahabharata and how she felt being the wife of the five brothers. And I used to think that this book has been published like 5 6 years ago at max, but I found that it was like 15 years ago, and it's also soon to be cast into like a movie, adapted into a movie. So I'm really excited to read this one actually. I really love, like, I don't want to say Mahabharata as like mythology, but I'd rather say it, historical fiction. So I really like historical fiction with like the characters' point of views being here and there, and the switch of the point of views. Like this one is by Draupadi, and there are several other books on the Mahabharata which have been told from other characters' perspectives as well. So I'm really excited to read this one. Okay, so last but not the least is Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. I've read Norwegian Wood by Murakami. I rated about like 3 stars out of 5. I enjoyed it, but not that much to give it like a 4 or 4.5 rating. But I really wanted to read Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. Like the title just piques my interest and it makes me want to read it. So I got this for 150, and I think it, for a book like this and a book so thick, 150 is like a really decent, like a really good price. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. I'm excited to read all of my books because like I bought 7 books, and like now I think I'm gonna have trouble deciding which order I'm gonna read, but I'm equally excited to read all of them. And I've always wanted this book on my shelf, and now that I finally have it, I can't wait to read it.